all of the Enneagram, I said this in another episode, is about what we do with our emotions. What we do with some sort of discomfort that these emotions bring and how we handle them.
Yeah.
Right? For the 2, it's, I don't like this feeling I have. It's guilt. It's all these things. So I've got to make it go away by serving. Right? For the 9, it's, I got to appease. I can't have any conflict. I don't have any opinions because I don't feel good about that.
Yeah.
Right? For the 7, it's like, I've got these feelings I don't know what to deal with, so I'm going to keep having fun.
Hi, I'm Caroline Howard, a biblical counselor and certified life breakthrough coach.
And I'm Chris Oneth, marriage and family therapist and executive director of Downey Park Counseling Associates.
Welcome to Our Next Question, where we attempt to answer the questions of life through conversations in psychology and Christianity.
Remember, this is a place of discovery and definitely not the final answer.
We are back with our final episode in our personality series. I hope you all have been having as much fun with this as we have, because we've been having some fun.
Where is my thing? I'm having trouble finding
Chris
the website.
isn't ready to start, but we're starting anyways.
Yes, exactly.
So as usual, we'll have a link to where you can find this test and or resources. And check it out, maybe even before you listen to this episode, so that you can know kind of what we're talking about and how you relate.
Push stop and come back. Go take the test and then come back.
We'll ramble for a bit and give
Play
you time.
along at home. That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
And this one is exciting to me. I don't think this is a personality test. I'm just going to start right
I'm
there.
still curious to know.
We can't go there yet. We have to have an opener.
Guys, we never do the work of figuring this out ahead of time.
I'm so excited about the Enneagram. Do we have to do an opener?
What's your favorite number?
Favorite number.
What number is Jesus?
Why do people have favorite numbers? That's what. Because my
Why
daughter
is this so
has a
huge in the
favorite
church?
number.
What is the problem with the Enneagram? Don't people freak out about the Enneagram?
Wait, is that our opener?
Sure.
That feels like we're just getting into discussion.
The Enneagram. Is it of the devil or not?
Well, I haven't been overcome by the Dark Lord. I have. Well, I'm possessing of the Holy Spirit because I'm united with Christ. It's no longer I that live, but He that lives in me, and so I don't know that I've had any weird happenings.
Is this our opener?
Jeez. Okay, sure.
Do you know that when this airs, we will be in September. It will be officially fall. So.
Well, no. The end of September is the end of September 21st.
Yeah, this will be September 21st.
Really?
Yep.
That's what I just said.
Oh my gosh!
Chris,
break your sweaters out.
What do you love most about fall?
I can't tell you. I went to the Starbucks the other day,
It's
and
all
they what?
It's all there. The fall stuff.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Like you wouldn't believe. Like coming on
Pumpkin
strong.
Spice.
Yeah.
I mentioned that to a client. They're like, "Yeah, I can't bring myself to do it when it's still 100 outside."
I mean, that's legit.
Yeah, that's true. But
they're apple croissants that they have right now.
There's apple croissants?
Fabulous.
Excuse me, I have somewhere to be.
Make sure they warm it up. Ask for it warmed.
Got it. Good to know.
Fall and food don't really relate for me or have any kind of I'm not big into the pumpkin spice or apple cider or whatever.
Apple cider?
Leaves changing colors.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Not so much around California, but when I lived in Michigan for a time, so much beauty, so many colors and trees.
Well, and you can sense around here the sun is moving.
Feels like it's moving closer because it feels like it's getting hotter.
It fell into my backyard the other day. It's shifting in the sky, and so there's different things that are happening. It is still hot here, but the heat is not lasting as long throughout the day. It'll spike and then it'll go away.
Yeah.
I got super excited because last week there was a few days in the high 80s.
Beautiful.
There was a day that was 79.
So beautiful.
And so then when the 100 degrees comes, that's 97 right now outside, but the 100 degrees comes back, then you're like crestfallen.
Yeah.
At least I am. Well,
fall is the end of baseball season, which used to be very depressing for me.
Oh.
But then I started liking football, so it's it's a good
transition.
It's a good
you
transition.
have really broken. We've talked about your breaking, you're venturing into new things.
Yeah, I feel like I'm
Growing?
facing fears or just like
Nice.
getting over them or
Walking along the canal?
walking along the, so I'm definitely growing as a person.
Is it that you're going to trip and fall into the canal? That's the problem? Or
Yeah,
the canal monster is going to wrap around your leg and pull you in?
I
What's exactly-
blame Froggy. Was that his
Splasher.
name?
Water
Splasher.
safety frog. Yeah.
I blame Splasher. He always made me like, I mean, I watched that all growing up and it was like, don't go near canals. And like, oh my gosh, am I going to drown? Am I going to get sucked into one of those drain
No, you can't
things?
blame
What's going to happen is Splasher's going to come and he's going to drag you under.
See, now that I think would be the better campaign. Like Splasher, like this dark frog
Splasher
type
is not your
figure
friend.
where he like starts to come up out of the water. He's got moss on him and all this stuff. And and so then you stay away from the canal.
For people that aren't like local to where we're at,
They're
Right.
like, what's a canal?
so there's this specific campaign around not swimming in canals
Because
it can
people
be
do it.
dangerous. And so they have a mascot who's Splasher who warns you not to swim in canals, to swim and play in safe places.
Yeah. So I've literally stayed away from canals my whole life.
You
Way to
cannot
go.
blame, but listen.
I do blame Splasher.
If it were only Splasher's fault, then you would only be afraid of canals. Instead, there's a lot of other things that concern you.
There is. So I think like mainly
And
is just,
Splasher had nothing
I don't
to do
want
with those.
Again, this all would probably boil down to I don't want to cause trouble.
Now that's yeah.
If I drown, that's gonna be not
trouble.
That's gonna cause issues for people.
True.
It's not about them being sad about me. It's like, oh my gosh, then they'd have to plan a funeral and then they'd have to deal with
Did
this
you
and deal with that.
take your cookie and run off toward the canal? Is that what happened?
That's what happened. Yeah. Tripped, I fell, I drowned. I came back to life. It's all good now.
Okay then. So I remember.
Wait, my favorite thing about fall is hot tea. I just wanted to say that.
Oh,
I
I'm
love
sorry. I didn't.
breaking out my mugs and like just having two hands around my cup of hot tea.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
love that.
Well,
I drink a
it's
lot
so
of hot
funny
tea.
because yes, I look forward to, I like the weather change. I look forward to now some long sleeves or something like that. Just like when the warmer weather comes around, I'm like, oh, it's, 55 degrees out. I can start wearing my short sleeves. And I'll freeze to death until I actually get used to the normal weather. Although this past summer, I did go to the coast with my buddies on the motorcycles and I did not bring enough warm clothes. It was cold. And it was like, I felt like I couldn't actually complain about being cold because I just come from the 110 degree valley.
Right.
Yeah. And if
And
you're
that's
from the
whole
valley,
thing. We're all this week,
know.
this coming week, there's supposed to be some 100-degree days, and we're all going to complain. But in a few weeks, we're all going to be complaining that's too cold.
Yeah, we get about 2 weeks of
We're
each.
complainers.
We
2
are
weeks.
just a bunch of complainers.
Although I looked on for my motorcycle trip coming up, I looked on the almanac for the average, and they say parts of the South that I'll be driving through can get to like 90 degrees in October.
Ooh.
I know.
That does not sound fun.
It doesn't, but
There
hey,
you go.
it's life on the road.
The Enneagram.
The invariable, the indomitable Enneagram.
I'm excited. Okay, so I don't think this is a personality
You
test.
keep saying that. What does that
because-
mean?
Explain what you mean.
Because with the Enneagram, and when I request that someone take the Enneagram, I say when you look at the questions, answer with your motivation. Like, right? So it's not about your personality. It's about what's behind why you would answer that way. So my example would be Sally has a birthday party. She invited all three of us. We all three bring gifts.
Yes.
I bring a gift because that's what you do when you go to a birthday party. You bring a gift because I want Sally to think I'm amazing, so I'm going to bring her a gift.
Well, hold on now. I'm going to bring her the best, most awesome gift ever.
Right.
And I want to see her be enthused, not necessarily about me.
Okay, there you go. And Kayla brings her a gift for a completely different reason. So our motive, we all do the same thing.
You guys are both under obligation.
But our motivation is different.
Isn't that personality based though?
No.
Then what would you, if it's not a personality test, what would you call it?
The Enneagram.
No. Wow.
It can't self-define.
It's
got
old
electrolytes.
thing. I just feel like it goes deeper.
Then
Don't ruin this for me. It's what I've always said, and it's how it is. Just say yes.
Okay, so
agreeableness.
Then you're then potentially what I picture is that when you think of personality, you're thinking of one level of personality, and this goes deeper than those levels.
Yes.
It's still a personality test. It just goes deeper than. And
so,
here is how it is different.
Yeah.
This Enneagram creates an entire narrative that the others don't.
Yes. And
right?
more than likely, because I'm not going to say 100%, your Enneagram number doesn't change as you age. Where
True.
these other ones, it will change.
It can. It doesn't necessarily. Again, traits are durable. They're not necessarily set in stone, right? So I will always have a certain degree of impulsiveness to me, but I will learn to mature that and learn its benefits instead of just,
Yeah, I'll say.
And then when you retest, it'll be different, though, when you retest as you work on that stuff. But I don't feel like if you retest on an Enneagram, I'm still going to be the number I am. I'm not going to say my number yet. You all know. I've said it a million times.
Right.
That's not necessarily true.
Like, Chris, when you were younger, you said your responses to, like, the big five would have been more extreme versus
probably,
where they're at now.
Yeah, that's true.
You'd probably still be, like, higher. It just might
be. No, that makes sense. Okay, if that's what you're saying, then I can agree to that. But
so you're saying I was right?
Well, I'm talking about defining what exactly we're talking about.
I won't make you do
this
that.
still is a personality test. So I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Not,
Sorry, Caroline.
There you go.
I don't think so.
That's okay. If we're keeping score at home, that's 2 for.
So the Enneagram, if you don't know it, there's 9 numbers, and everybody, you are 9 types, and you are one of the numbers. And then you can like do this deep dive into the Enneagram, because then you have your wings, which are each number alongside of you. So if you're a 2, you can wing 1 or 3. If you're a 9, you can wing 1 or 8. And then there's lines, and we're not talking about drugs.
Lines.
Yeah. Lines are what you go
It's
to.
a family show. You can't be saying that. Mommy, what does he mean by lines?
I know. I'm encouraging healthy conversations among children and parents. Your lines are where you go to in stress. You can go to a certain number, and when you're in
like health,
peace. I want to say peace.
Yeah. Okay.
You could go to another number.
I typically see it as like health and unhealth.
Yeah.
So, and then I learned it as the deadly sin. They call it other things, but it's like a character trait that's very prominent in each number.
Like, kind of its flaw that you can easily fall into.
The fatal flaw.
Yeah.
So I think a great website, you guys may disagree, is the Enneagram Institute.
Mm-hmm. It's fantastic.
I disagree. I'm just joking.
It's got so many facets to it.
Yeah.
It can even tell you, a matter of fact, one of the things I want to do in this episode is I want to compare our numbers and how we relate.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is super helpful too.
Okay, so I have what I always use. It's called the Ennea app.
Oh.
Ooh.
And it is an app on my phone, and you can get it free, or I think I pay $9.99 flat fee one time.
Oh, wow.
And I get all.
I might have
it's
that
literally the Enneagram. I can push on a number, and it gives me everything about that number, including how I interact with other numbers.
Oh.
Yes. So, who's going to start? Who wants to start with their number? Go, Caleb.
I'll just start with what I love about it, and then I can get into my number as well.
Okay.
I love that it shows like the areas you can go to in health and unhealth. It just gives, and then also each one has the levels of development. Like there's unhealthy levels, average levels, and healthy levels. And it shows like each type is different, and each one can be positive or negative depending on what level of health or unhealth you're at. And it kind of shows you each of those phases and where basically it shows you like how you can work toward a more healthy version of your personality type.
Yeah.
And then also I do love the compatibility with others. I also misidentified myself earlier on. Maybe I'll find out that I misidentify myself now, but I think it's accurate given years of experience. But I thought I was a 2, kind of like Caroline before, because of some of the tendencies I have as a 9. And I also thought I was a 7, which is like Chris, I think, because of some of the things. So 9s tend to be, there's a lot of overlap because they are very like empathetic. And so, anyway, yes. So
Caleb is a 9.
Let's see if there's like an easy. So 9 is known as the peacemaker, I believe.
Yes, correct.
The easygoing, self-effacing type, receptive, reassuring, agreeable, and complacent. Enneagram type 9s are accepting, trusting, and stable. They are usually creative, optimistic, and supportive, but can also be too willing to go along with others to keep the peace. They want everything to go smoothly without conflict, but they can also tend to be complacent, simplifying problems and minimizing anything upsetting. They typically have problems with inertia and stubbornness. At their best, they are indomitable and all-embracing. They are also able to bring people together and heal conflicts, which... Yep.
So I have a lot of 9s in my life, which I love 9s. Your wife, one of my best friends, being one of them.
She's a 9.
And
but I think she has an 8 wing.
Well, that's okay. But what I've learned and what I love and what I've learned, one thing I love about 9s is that they can see both sides. And so and 2 of my best friends are 9. So I can go to them and be like, I'm so mad about this. And they'll be like, I get it. And you see this, they can show me. And so I love that. And then something I've learned, my daughter's also a 9. I've learned about them is they are indecisive. They don't like making decisions.
That's true.
So when you've got all your friends and you're like, where do you guys want to go to dinner? And they all stare at you.
Because you don't want to say something that's not going to work for other people.
Yes. So now what I do is, do you want to go here or here?
Yeah.
If I give them 2-3 decisions at
which
the
is great.
mostest.
Like if you can understand these about the different personality types, you can know how to help them and work well with them.
And this is one of the reasons why I love the Enneagram. It's because it helps you be
I've
a
also
better
just
friend.
found it to be incredibly accurate. Like in every person that I've come across that I've said, hey, check this out and find what you think you fit into. They're like, man, I feel like I'm reading a book about myself.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
It is. And that's what so that's what I'll tell people. If you haven't already taken the Enneagram, when you take it, take the test. You'll get a high number. And usually, I don't know how this test is because I've taken a different test years ago. They'll show you a couple, what you scored on every number. So read about the number you scored the highest on, but also read about the number you scored the second highest on. Because for some people, it ends up being that number.
Yep.
Yeah.
You will know it's your number. Trust me. I've heard this so many times because you will read it and you will feel like they are in your head. And you'll be like, how does somebody know all of this about me? When I read mine, the 2, because I think it was a 2 and then a 6 or something, I literally sat and cried as I read about it too. Because I couldn't believe there was someone who finally understood what was going on in my head. It's crazy.
Yep.
So make sure you read both numbers.
Okay.
Yeah. So for a 9, your lines in stress, you go to a 6, which is a loyalist.
Which tends to be the unhealth is anxiety and it
is. So,
fear.
Okay. But here's a clarification I want to make because people think that the lines that when you go to stress, that you go to a 6, that's a bad thing.
Right.
It's not a negative thing. It's just what you need to go to get yourself through that stressful time. You can't rely on your 9 stuff. So I go to the 6. And so reactivity and worry replace my passivity because 9s are usually very passive. So I'm stressed now. So now I go to reactivity and worry.
Yep.
Not necessarily bad in stress. You shouldn't maybe be passive. You should be more reactive. And so I want people to know that it's not a negative thing that you go to a 6 when you're stressed. And then the open point, the other line for you is a 3, which is an achiever.
Yep. Which is setting goals, getting things done, not being passive in a different way. Working toward things. Yeah.
Yeah. You get more in touch with your passion and your heart's desire.
Nice.
You feel secure so you can display your accomplishments. You're kind of more out there about yourself. So super cool.
I highly recommend reading through the levels of development and the healthy, average, and unhealthy levels because I find those to be really helpful as well.
Right, because then you know where you're at, and then we all obviously want to work towards
I was reading through these the other day, like the healthiest levels, like 1, 2, and I was like, man, I was tearing up and like crying a bit because I'm like, that's who I want to be. Like,
totally,
yeah, yep.
Totally.
It's really cool.
Any work on any possible wings you might have?
Yeah, that's what I'm uncertain of too. I need to do more digging into like reading descriptions of each of them because I feel like I could probably go either way. So I'm not sure which wing I am, 8 or 1.
Okay.
I don't know. Does everyone have a wing? Can you? I think so, but I don't know.
And one thing I've learned is that you can go back and forth between your wings.
I'll have to do more digging into that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I found the wings fascinating.
Yeah.
They really did round out some aspect. On this Enneagram Institute, I'm not seeing a place for big wing descriptions. I did find another site that talked about, a bunch of wing descriptions. But anyway, Caroline, let's hear about what's going on over there with you. We've known this for quite some time.
Well,
I've hit you over the head with it several times.
I'm a helper.
I just want to help.
You just want to help the whole entire world.
Well, it's so great that I want to help.
So my survival depends on the love and approval of significant others.
Dun, 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 dun.
Being connected in relationship is my main focus and my primary concern. Yes. Emphasis is on what others need, helping the important cause or person. This may lead to me being overextended, dependent, or manipulative.
Wow. Do you see that?
I don't find myself as manipulative, but maybe I don't.
But that's another interesting thing.
Yeah.
Like you would have to ask people who know you best.
Right.
And that might be a hard thing to hear.
Yeah, I don't want to ask you right now.
And I feel like that's not going to be every two. I feel like that kind of leans into the unhealthy level. Of like, I'm doing these things for you, therefore you should respond by loving me. And
yeah. So I have a lack of self-identity. I define the self by what I do for others. My roles trump my feelings.
So interesting. So hold on now. Jeez, don't get excited. Your roles trump your feelings.
Yeah.
In other words, obligations come before like what Caroline wants and needs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
So, and we've talked about this historically about like you even like developing that muscle to know what you want and need.
Right. Yeah. Like
which is a huge thing.
Like there was a point in time where if you were like, do you have any hobbies? I'd be like, no, what do you like to do?
Well, and you're just still coming into that.
No, I mean, I read, like there was a time I read this and I cry because this is who I am. But now it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not like that as much anymore. Like, sure, that's still innate in me and I have to fight it.
Totally.
But I definitely don't see myself. I don't feel like I lack self-identity anymore.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, for sure. I do still struggle with asking for help, but I've gotten so much better at it.
So I think that's a huge one, especially in the work we do and the people we work with, is we run across so many people with, and I'll tell you this too, Christians, man.
Yeah.
Christian women.
Yeah.
Christian men too, but the whole lack of self-identity.
Yeah.
So this is
I'll
a whole different episode. Huh?
Moms.
Oh, yeah, totally. So what would you say? Because I have my ideas about what I encourage people to do to gain some self-identity.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you tell some of your clients? Like, hey, this is how, as a 2, you start to move from, where do you want to eat? No, I want to eat where you want to eat, to, you know what? I want barbecue, crying out loud.
Yeah. Honestly, and I mean, this might sound like the cheesy Christian answer, but it really did come from me solely finding my identity in God. Because then it's like, if I tell this person what I really want and it offends them, God still loves me. I haven't offended God.
Okay, so then what I hear you saying is practically you would test the waters of saying, I really want this, or I'm going to have to say no.
Yeah.
You would do that, and then you'd go through the turmoil of, oh no, and then in that moment you'd have to say, but Lord.
It's the inner dialogue.
You tell me who I am.
Yep.
You say, I need time by myself right now. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it really is like, and again, I think that's why like in all these personality tests, I'm like, this is not my identity.
Yeah.
I have characteristics of a 2. I am a child of God first and foremost.
But,
My and again, it is a lot of that inner that my feelings matter. My voice matters. What I think matters. But I have to tell myself that on the daily, and even sometimes to the person I'm talking to, if they interrupt me, of like, hey, you know what? No, like it matters what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so it's just
I've got to be careful then. I don't want to interrupt you.
practicing that. Shut up.
Wow. Hurtful. I'm attacking. Awesome. So, okay. So a 2 in stress goes to.
I should know these by heart, right? A 2 in stress, I go to an 8.
Oh, so you pick up the hammer.
My love withdrawn becomes silent, withdrawn or furious, which is totally true. When I'm stressed, I'll go silent.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So you close down, because I always picture the 8 as just like loud and out there.
Yeah, no, I'll close down, and a lot of that honestly has to do with like I don't want to hurt the other person. Like I need to just
Wow.
because I don't want to say something that's gonna upset them or
or
hurt their feelings.
That is very different from what happens when I get upset.
So when a 2 goes to 8, my neediness turns into dominance, which I will say that too. I think I when I'm stressed, I can definitely speak out my mind way more.
But it's interesting that it takes that stress to get you there instead of like being there in a competent and safe place. Like, hey, this is what needs to get done. Let's get to it. No anger about it.
Yep.
Matter of fact.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then it says like the upside of that is the assertive energy I develop then allows me to self-advocate.
Aha.
Which it totally does. I can self-advocate in stress.
Oh,
like
and that's that's true of a lot of people. It's like they don't self-advocate until they're stressed.
Yeah.
And so it comes across like a blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
When, probably it's better to advocate along the way so it's not so uncomfortable. Yeah. And so, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
And then when I'm open, when I'm good, I go to a 4, the individualist.
Whoa.
I accommodate others' needs less.
Oh, so you go to, I'm just here to be a service to everyone, which again, I want to make fun of, but no, this is what I like. This is, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
Boy, those seem like such extremes, 4 and a 2.
Right.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So it's good. It's nice when I'm calm because I say no a lot more.
And so then I would imagine, because we talk about this and we encourage our clients to do it too, like getting used to, in your position, getting used to saying no and getting to the point where it's like, actually, for one, I don't have to say no, like, no.
Right.
I don't have to like, get away from me. I can say no, like, actually, I'm not going to be able to do that.
I'm not going to do that for you.
And if somebody's going to push, then you can still remain, grounded and be like, I honestly, I'm not going to be able to. And then be okay with that.
Answered.
Yeah, right. This conversation is over. Yes, totally.
So, and here's the interesting thing. We didn't talk about the deadly sin with Caleb's, but a 2's deadly sin is pride. And can I tell you, man, when I read that, Did you throw the book across the room? Just about.
How dare they?
It was so convicting. It was so, because the first thing I wanted to say, right, as any prideful, I am not prideful. I help people.
Right?
And then you hear yourself saying that, and you're like, oh, that's it right there. There's that pridefulness of, look at all I'm doing for everybody else.
Yes.
Right? And I don't sense it as pride.
No.
But then I'm like, I'm the martyr. I'm doing all this stuff.
So in all honesty, when I get couples, and there's 2 couples, and if she's a 2, I'll just use the term her as an example.
Yeah.
But if for example she's a 2 and she feels what'll happen is she will do all the self-help, all the studying, and all the other stuff. So she gets to a point where she does not see her flaw at all. And so it becomes a dump session for her husband.
Yeah.
And then the moment you turn your head and say, well, don't you have this and this going on? Then the knives come out and the therapist gets killed. It's like, how dare you?
Well, you've never killed the therapist yet.
With the eyeballs.
Not yet.
with the eyeballs.
Okay, my deadly eyeballs.
Yes. You
But
killed
it's
him with
true,
your
right?
eyes.
Because in your mind, so here's the other thing.
yeah, walk me through that one. Because
like-
you know better than I.
So let's take it like this. Like, I don't deal with criticism well.
Right.
Because my heart is like, I'm just trying to help people. I want people's lives to be better.
Sure.
And so when someone comes to me and says and criticizes me, inside I'm dying because I've done the exact opposite of what I want to do.
That's interesting.
Inside I'm like, I just made their life difficult.
Oh my gosh.
That is not what I wanted to do, and now I've done that.
That's again so different from what I think.
And so the self-deprecation that happens inside of me is horrible.
That is fascinating because when
horrible.
someone confronts me and I get to stress, and we'll talk about that in a second, but my defense mechanism is you're an idiot.
because I know
Couldn't be me.
Because I know more than everybody else in the whole
exactly.
world. So,
Well, I don't say that's interesting though, because but I don't think that about my wife. Like my wife comes to me and with like
that's
Chris.
good. I'm glad you don't think she's.
Well,
an
she's
idiot.
not. That's she's
Yeah.
proven that over and over.
Yeah, no. So then I immediately want to go to, but this is what I was trying to do. Like I wasn't like, I want to be like, I'm so sorry. I wasn't trying to offend you. I wasn't trying to make your life
sincere,
miserable. I was trying to. Yeah. And so then I've had to learn to take it and be like, okay.
But all the while you could have been helping to just stay away from your own crap, and you're helping people so you don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is why like helping is a major important gift, the conviction of which the Lord gives us. Mm-hmm. But it can be dialed to the point where then if we lose ourselves, then it becomes not about truly helping people. It becomes about, I don't know who I am, so whatever I'm gonna just be edified by helping you, and then the hook on there, correct me if I'm wrong, is I need you to give me some sort of acknowledgement or recognition in this, and if I don't, then it destroys me. And so then the help is on the hook.
Yeah, because our biggest thing that two wants, I can say for me, my biggest thing that I want is I want to be appreciated. Mm-hmm. I just want to be appreciated. Like, I just want to be told, like, thank you. I want to be noticed for it. Not in a way of buy me a crown, but just that, like, that was really great. Thanks for helping me out. I don't want to be taken advantage of.
Ooh, yeah.
But that happens often, right?
Which is interesting
yes
because
everything.
yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. And so by not drawing the boundary, it's a cheap. Mm-hmm. It's a cheap thing you're throwing out there.
Yeah.
You've cheapened your help.
Yeah.
You got to make it a commodity, girl. You got to be like, that's going to cost you.
I am now. I mean, I'm way better now. But I mean, if you think about it, right? You guys hear me say how I'm a 2. Doesn't that show how any 2 will be like, I'm a 2? Because there's our pride.
Yeah.
It automatically comes out.
I'm pretty happy about being a 7.
Aren't I great? Everybody wants me around.
That's interesting. Okay, so awesome.
Yeah, I don't really. My wing, I literally fluctuate back and forth between a 1 and a 3.
I see that.
Yeah,
I totally see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some balance there, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if that makes me balanced. I think if both my wings are working, I can fly. I can soar better. Yeah, I have no idea.
That girl.
All right.
Okay.
Your turn.
Woo. Okay, so
I
am a 7. But I know myself enough to know that I'm a 7 with an 8 wing.
Yeah.
So there's kind of big facets there. Oh, by the way, side note before I move on to this, Caleb 9, the deadly sin over there is sloth. Yes.
Uh-huh. Do you have anything to say about that?
Inactivity was one of your scores on.
Yeah, that was on the Big 5.
Yeah.
That was under,
So you see it all kind of crosses paths.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Like it said, like in areas of health or growth, I would move toward like achievement and setting goals and doing things. Whereas it's very easy for me to just sit in a comfortable place and be at peace. Like that's fine with me. I don't need to be like doing or accomplishing things. I can just kind of sit back and yeah. Okay. So
awesome.
That's how I see that manifesting itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, number 7.
So number 7.
The enthusiast.
The enthusiast or the adventurer, they say.
Oh, do you prefer that?
Heck yeah.
Okay. Please forgive me.
It was whatever I can pick. Typically have problems with impatience and impulsiveness. This is weird. This doesn't fit.
I feel a theme throughout all of yours.
Extroverted, optimistic, versatile, spontaneous, playful, high-spirited, practical. Can also misapply their many talents, becoming overextended, scattered, and undisciplined. Wouldn't you know, my deadly sin is gluttony.
Okay, so can I read something on that?
Oh, please.
Because, right, we think
She was
of...
ready.
I know, I was, because I knew, because I hear this all the time, because we think of gluttony as I shove every food in my face, right?
But I do.
But it's not. This, in this sense, it's a desire to experience more of everything pleasurable.
150%.
Wanting what is exciting, interesting, what feels good, craves life experiences that keep you high.
yes.
So it's not about the excess of food, it's the excess
yes.
of happy, great things.
So, but the funny thing is, okay, so Melanie has continually given me a hard time about all this stuff. So when I, right down to when I take a drink of something,
Yeah.
and this sounds weird, maybe it doesn't, to all you 7s out there, wink, wink. When I take a drink of something, I love it to fill I love the mouth feel. I love even a seltzer, like a LaCroix. I'll take a big fat gulp of that sucker because it just hits me and I want that full experience.
Wow.
I know.
You know what automatically comes to my mind?
And that's got 0 calories, by the way.
That's good. Is when we, because, we go out to dinner.
Yes.
All of us sometimes. And when brew fries are in front of you.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Listen.
We all know to eat the brew fries really fast before Chris starts to eat them.
I'm stabbing brew fries and people are stabbing my hand with their forks. Anyway. So Armstrong Getty are radio people that I listen to, and they were talking about the marshmallow test. Marshmallow test for to gauge putting off immediate satisfaction, and that would be a gauge of somehow future success. So the little kids, they bring the marshmallows, and they bring a marshmallow, they set it in front of the kid, and they say, okay, I think we've talked about this before. Set it in front of the kid and said, okay, if you don't eat the marshmallow, you'll get another marshmallow. And then they'd leave and film the kid for 3 hours. No, they would like torture. 10 minutes or whatever. Okay. So some kids eat the marshmallow, man. Some kids wait and they get another marshmallow. And so one of the hosts of Armstrong Getty goes, man, I don't know about marshmallows, but if that guy brought in like I say, asada fries or gravy fries.
Any of those.
Brew fries. He said biscuits and gravy. He goes, if someone brought in biscuits and gravy, he goes, I would attack them before they were able to put the plate on the table. Yes. Brew fries, baby.
Yes. I would too. Okay, so what do you go to in stress?
So let me emphasize something before I go on about this. So all of the Enneagram, I said this in another episode, is about what we do with our emotions. What we do with some sort of discomfort that these emotions bring and how we handle them.
Yeah.
Right? For the 2, it's, I don't like this feeling I have. It's guilt. It's all these things. So I've got to make it go away by serving. Right? For the 9, it's, I got to appease. I can't have any conflict. I don't have any opinions because I don't feel good about that.
Yeah.
Right? For the 7, it's like, I've got these feelings I don't know what to deal with. So I'm going to keep having fun. So the basic fear, of course, of being deprived and in pain. And some of this stuff you read, man, it's like, holy cow, this is deep.
It's like they're in your brain.
The basic desires to be satisfied and content, to have the needs fulfilled. But to only. Yeah. That's why when I'm in health, I'm a 5. And in health, so key motivations want to maintain their freedom and happiness, to avoid missing out, worthwhile experiences, to keep themselves excited and occupied, and to avoid and discharge pain. When moving a direction of stress, scattered 7s suddenly become perfectionist and critical at 1. I live this. So my story about this is when we poured concrete at the old house. Concrete waits for no one. Concrete has a time constraint. Concrete doesn't care if you've stubbed your toe, hurt your hand, or you're hungry or thirsty or about to die.
Or have to go to the bathroom.
Because it will harden up.
Yeah.
And so I've got my wife out there. I've got a couple of my kids out there, and the concrete were pouring. I'm like, do this, over there, right now, move there. And I do. I get like controlling and all this other stuff when I'm stressed. So it gets to that perfectionist. And so the way I see it is there's other times I'm having fun and getting rid of the bad feeling. And then all of a sudden I've put stuff off so long that now I cannot avoid the feeling any longer. And so it's go, fix, make it happen. And
interesting.
And
stuff happens when you're stressed.
Exactly.
It gets done.
And so that's the other intoxicating thing is like, wow, yeah, this is effective. Hey, let's keep riding this bus. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's stress. When moving in the direction of growth, and by the way, my chief sin is gluttony. I think I mentioned that. Scattered sevens become more focused and fascinated by life, like healthy fives. I love experiencing my fiveness. Fiveness is measured. They call five the observer.
Yeah.
So that's when, for example, this is why I love museums. I love museums because you don't go rush through a museum and like, okay, I gotta see this, gotta get this done. You rush through a museum and you're present. You look at the displays. You think about, especially history stuff. You think about what it's been through and the times and all, for me anyway. And there's a great deal of reflection, even philosophical thought that comes my way. This is why I go on my quiet walks. Okay. And so this is what helps me to say even, okay, I am prepared to deal with these responsibilities and then do my responsibilities and then go have fun.
Okay.
Oh, and don't get me wrong, I'm still all about the fun.
The fun is always there.
Now, side note.
Yeah.
I've got an 8 wing.
Okay.
So
that's intense.
So on a different website I'm looking at sevens. It says 7 seeks variety, stimulation, and fun in life. Tackle challenges with optimism. I don't know about charming because my wife says I'm not.
You might want to show her that.
Future oriented. That is true. They engage in life by asking, okay, what's next? They may seem impulsive, distracted, hedonistic, weird, insensitive, and irresponsible to others. They are inspirational team members, enhancing creativity, energy, and optimism in the team. At lower levels of at stress, sevens excess is likely to catch up with them. There you go. While they may be unhappy, they choose not to recognize this, hiding in escapism, hyperactivity, and the impulsive pursuit of pleasure. Okay, whatever. At higher levels, they stay present in their experience. That's the 5. Yeah. Finding joy within rather than... Okay, so as an 8 wing, here's what happens. This wing invites the 7 to access their own power, becoming more assertive. The drive to action helps them move from planning to doing.
Okay.
So yes, I have areas where it's like, okay, I'm going to get this done.
Yeah.
They become more grounded and honest in self-disclosure and interactions with others. The inner toughness of the 8 supports them in being less afraid of getting hurt. My challenges related to my 8 wing. Assertiveness may become aggressive as they force their bold ideas onto others.
That's when you get uncharming.
Correct me if any of this is unfamiliar to you, Caroline.
Okay, I will.
He's still listening.
Promise.
They may become more self-absorbed and act more superior than others. Weird.
Still staying silent.
Gluttonous desire combines with gluttonous desire combines with drive for immediate satisfaction, potentially taking advantage of others for pleasure and gain.
I just think of the brew fries. I order them because I'm there first, and I turn around and you've arrived and they're gone.
Oh, wow. Well, okay, so all of this, even 7s have a high risk of being addicts. Right. And there's addiction that runs in my family.
9s as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so this is nothing I'm not aware of. And so I will purposefully like cut myself off from different things So
you
that
do
I'm
that.
like,
I do notice that about you.
Yeah.
Like I'm taking a break from.
yeah,
Hey, you should take a break from pies this holiday season,
that's ridiculous. I take a break from pie all year long.
just so you can be gluttonous.
Overindulge.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, and
holiday
here's
season.
the other thing. It also depends. If I am in a state where I'm like working out and exercising, then that's the new gluttony.
Yeah, right.
So that gluttony trumps
Right.
the unhealthy gluttony. Huh? That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting
That's how
because
you
we
do
both like 7s and 9s have a tendency for addiction, but for 7s, I feel like it's more like the experience of like
Yeah.
feeling good and all these things. And for 9s, it's more like numbing out and like going
Isn't
to a
that
place
something?
of yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we only dug into 3 numbers here. There are 6 more numbers.
So we're doing another 29 podcasts on this. No, I'm just kidding.
But again, there are so many great resources. There's some great books. We will have links to stuff in the show notes for you.
Please take the tests.
The
and
Enneagram app I like it because it's just like a
It
lot
does.
of times
It's all here.
with a client, I'll just grab it and I'll be like, okay, here's
It's got the teeny tiny writing, but
I mean, it does. I have to wear my glasses when I
Yeah.
read it, but it's very handy,
mo better.
dandy to
It
have.
says
and
more is
stuff.
better for the 7. Mo better.
Mo better.
Mo better.
Mo better. So this wraps up our personality series. This was awesome. Thanks for suggesting that we
Well,
do
you're
this.
very welcome. And guys, find where your personality is and embrace it and cherish it and offer it up to the Lord.
Yeah.
Because we are sacrifices to our God, and that is the most fulfilling that we will be. And so appreciate how He has made you and learn to kind of harness that for His glory and your blessing.
And so I want to go back to the first episode of this what is personality? And I made the comment of, don't we all want the personality of Jesus? And you guys totally just jumped on top of me with the whole thing. I believe that Jesus is all of these personalities. And so I think I was kind of right when I said that.
I don't know about that.
I think that the part of sanctification is right. We're all different. And the part of the sanctification is find out what your personality is. We all have work to do.
Yes.
So these tests kind of show you hey, look, here's where you could grow in this. That's part of that sanctification process.
Yes.
Here's where we can, I don't want to say do better, but here's where we can be healthier in whatever our personality is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Or use it to its, highest potential.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
There you go. We're done. We did it.
Okay,
Woo.
we made it happen. Please, if this has helped you in any way, shape, or form, leave a positive and friendly review and share it with some friends of yours. We look forward to seeing you in many more episodes to come as we discuss some of these ins and outs of psychology and counseling and Christianity, or one of those things.
Whatever I do.
That's, yeah. Whatever we do.
All right, we'll see you all next time.
Take care. Thanks for joining us today as we continue our journey talking about life's many questions.
To stay connected with us, you can follow us at Downey Park Counseling on both Facebook and Instagram. You can also follow Caroline on Instagram at Relatable Caroline. And make sure you tune in next week for our next question.